They abandoned me when I was 17. Now they want a piece of my millions. Hey Reddit. I don't usually post on here, but after what happened at my family's so-called reunion last weekend, I needed to tell someone. Even if it's just strangers on the internet. Let me take you back 12 years. Back when I was just a broke, awkward 17-year-old kid, and when my family threw me out like trash. I was raised in a strict, conservative household. My parents were the kind who believed in tough love and that emotions were weaknesses. I was the black sheep, quiet, nerdy, into coding and gaming. My older brother was the golden child, athletic, charming, and an exact replica of my dad. I was not. When I came out to my parents as bisexual, my dad literally stood up from his chair, looked me dead in the eye, and said, "Pack your things. You're no son of mine." No yelling. No arguing. Just cold, surgical rejection. I thought it was a scare tactic. It wasn't. 30 minutes later, I was standing on the sidewalk with a duffel bag and a $20 bill my mom slipped into my hand while whispering, "I'm sorry." That was the last I saw of them for 12 years. I couch surfed. I stayed in a shelter. I worked at a gas station during the day and taught myself programming at night in public libraries. I got lucky when I found an online gig doing freelance web development, and I grinded like my life depended on it, because it did. By 21, I had a steady freelance business. By 24, I launched a small SaaS startup that got acquired by a mid-sized company for $2.2 million. By 27, I co-founded a tech platform with two friends that now has a $60 million valuation. We just closed another round of funding last quarter. I'm 29 now. I have a penthouse downtown, a Tesla, a dog named Bite, and a boyfriend who loves me for who I am, not in spite of it. I never looked back, until they came knocking. It started with a Facebook friend request from my cousin Sarah. Then a DM. "Hey, I saw your article in Forbes. So proud of you. We should catch up," smiley face. I didn't reply, but a few days later, she messaged again. "Uncle Rick wants to reconnect. He says he regrets everything. Please talk to him." Uncle Rick equals my dad. It felt like a punch to the gut. After 12 years of silence, now that I'm in tech articles and investor panels, now he remembers I exist? I ignored it, but curiosity got the best of me. I made a burner account and snooped. Found my brother's Instagram. All family pics, BBQs, kids, vacations. I wasn't in a single photo. I was erased. Then, an email landed in my inbox. From my mom. Subject line: "Please read. I know we hurt you. I will never forgive myself for what we did. Your father is sick, early onset Parkinson's. He wants to make things right. Please come home." Part of me wanted to scream. Another part felt something. So I replied, carefully. I said I'd come to the family reunion she mentioned, but only as an observer. I brought my boyfriend with me for emotional backup. And that's when the real circus began. We showed up to the reunion in a rented black Escalade. I wore a crisp custom suit. My boyfriend wore a smug smile. You could feel the tension the moment I stepped onto the lawn. My dad was sitting under a canopy, shaking slightly, but looking composed. My mom ran over and hugged me like I hadn't been disowned on the sidewalk. Everyone acted like we'd just lost touch over the years. Fake. Smiling. Soulless. Then my brother approached, clapped me on the back, and said, "Heard you're doing well for yourself. We've got a business idea you might be interested in." Yup. There it was. The pitch. I played along. Let them talk about their family-run cafe idea and expanding into e-commerce. They wanted $250,000 to get it off the ground. My dad, between sips of water, looked at me and said, "This could be a chance for you to give back. Reconnect with your roots." I looked around the table, at the people who abandoned me, at the empty seat they never filled for 12 years, at the house they kept me out of, and I smiled. Sure, I'll think about it. I mailed them a box. Inside was a check for $0 and a typed letter that said, "You didn't lose a son. You threw him away." I didn't forget. I just forgave myself for ever trying to earn your love. I'm not your legacy, your bank, or your second chance. I built a life without you, and I like it that way. Consider this my final goodbye. My name. I don't regret visiting. It reminded me of everything I survived, everything I rebuilt. You can't buy back the past, but you can choose who gets to be in your future. My family didn't want me when I was poor, scared, and real. Now that I'm successful, they want to share. Too late. My chosen family, my partner, my friends, my dog. They were there when I had nothing. They're the ones getting the lake house trips, the bonuses, the loyalty. Update. I thought it was over. I was wrong. Hey Reddit. I didn't expect my story to get much attention, but I'm back. Because the moment I thought I was free of them, things got even more insane. Let me start by saying, I sent that box with the $0 check and the goodbye letter expecting silence. I figured it would sting, maybe piss them off, but ultimately shut the door. Nope. 3 days later, I get a call from an unknown number. I ignore it. They call again. And again. I block it. Then I get an email. From a lawyer. Not my lawyer, my father's. The subject line? Estate discussion, urgent. I'm thinking, oh, come on. But I open it anyway. It turns out, my father, the same man who told me I was dead to him, had just filed paperwork to add me back into his will. I didn't believe it at first. I called the lawyer to confirm. He was real. The will was real. And apparently, so was my dad's diagnosis. Parkinson's wasn't just a guilt-tripping tactic. It was advancing fast. According to the lawyer, my dad wanted me to inherit 51% of the family estate, which includes the house, 2 properties, and some old investment accounts. He said you earned it, the lawyer told me. He wants to talk. In person. What the hell? After everything? I didn't say yes. But I didn't say no either. I talked to my therapist. I talked to my partner. I thought about what it would mean to actually walk back into that house, the one I was kicked out of, where I cried on the curb holding a duffel bag and $20. Eventually, I agreed. But I didn't go alone. I brought my boyfriend, my lawyer, and a friend who's basically my emotional bodyguard. And I told them all. The minute it turns manipulative, we're leaving. When we arrived, my mom opened the door. She looked older, tired, hollow in the eyes. She didn't say anything at first, just hugged me like she'd been holding her breath for 12 years. My dad was in a chair in the living room, hands trembling, eyes watery. He barely looked like the man who threw me out. And the first thing he said? I was wrong. I didn't expect an apology. Not a real one. But he kept going. He talked about how he was raised. About how his father beat the softness out of him. How shame and silence were his only tools. How when I came out, he panicked. Because he didn't know how to protect what he didn't understand. He thought rejection would make me stronger. He cried. Not just watery eyes, full-on tears. Shaking sobs. My mom held his hand. My brother sat stiffly on the other side of the room, clearly not expecting this level of honesty either. I didn't cry. I just listened. I let it sit. Then I said, it's not forgiveness you need. It's accountability. And I told them what those 12 years were like. The shelter. The nights without food. The panic attacks. The people who became my family. The parts of me that would never heal. I told them the version of me they tried to erase had built an empire. My brother, who had mostly been silent, snapped. So this is what this is? A guilt parade so you can lecture us while you sit on millions? I just stared at him. My dad told him to shut up. Literally yelled at him. Something I'd never seen growing up. My brother stormed out. My dad then turned to me and said, I don't want your money. I want to leave you what I failed to give you the first time. Something that proves you still matter to this family. Even if I don't deserve to say it. I was stunned. He handed me a key. A literal key. To the cabin. Your grandfather's place. It's yours now. And you know what? I still haven't decided what I'll do with it. The bitterness doesn't go away with an apology. But hearing him own his failure? That cracked something open in me. I stayed an hour longer. My boyfriend, the lawyer, and my friend just watched silently, respectful. The air was thick with emotion and unresolved wounds, but it felt real. Before I left, my mom pulled me aside. I read every article about your company. I printed them out. I keep them in a drawer. That almost broke me. So now, I'm sitting here at my penthouse desk, key in hand, trying to process this chaos. I don't trust them completely. I don't know if I ever will. But something changed. Maybe in them. Maybe in me. Final update. My brother tried to ruin me, but he uncovered something even worse. Hey Reddit. So, remember when I said I might be getting closure? Yeah, forget all of that. This is the most chaotic thing that's ever happened to me, and I've slept in a shelter next to a guy who thought he was Napoleon. Let me start from the top. A week after I visited my parents, the emotional breakdown, the apology, the key to the cabin, I got a call from my mom at 1 a.m. She was crying. Panicked. It's your brother. He did something. Please don't hate us. I'm like, what now? Apparently, my golden child brother had decided he wasn't too happy about me being put back into the will. And in a stunning act of jealousy and idiocy, he hired a private investigator to dig up dirt on me, hoping to prove I didn't deserve anything from our parents. What he found instead was a secret second family. No, not mine. My dad's. Yup. Turns out, back in the 90s, while my dad was on business trips, he was also fathering an entirely separate child with a woman 2 towns over. For years, the PI didn't even need to dig deep. The guy's name is Jake. He's 31. He has my dad's exact face, plays guitar, and runs a mechanic shop. And he had no idea who his father was until last week. My brother confronted my dad at dinner. My mom was devastated. She'd suspected something years ago, but was told she was paranoid. She broke down in front of the whole extended family at another reunion dinner. Cue chaos. My brother's PI report made its way through the entire family like wildfire. My aunts, uncles, and even the nosy neighbor who always watered her lawn during arguments. Everyone found out. It gets better. Jake, my newly discovered half-brother, showed up at the house. He brought DNA test results. He was calm, surprisingly chill, and honestly, cooler than all of us. Long hair, tattooed arms, called my dad Rick instead of Dad. He looked me in the eye and said, "We both got abandoned, just in different ways." We talked for 2 hours. Compared stories. His mom never asked for child support. She just moved on. Jake figured his dad was a jerk. Never imagined he was living 2 lives. Now the family is imploding. My mom is staying with my cousin. My dad's health is declining fast, and now nobody is sure who gets what in the will, because guess what? Turns out the cabin key he gave me, the deed is in Jake's name. I confronted my dad. He broke down again and admitted he put the cabin in Jake's name years ago, when he was trying to do right by at least one of his sons. So basically, I was disowned. Then I was embraced. Then my brother tried to ruin me. Then he accidentally found a secret half-brother. And now that half-brother owns the one thing I was given as a peace offering. Oh, and my lawyer says this is all a legal nightmare. The will hasn't been updated in years. There are conflicting asset designations. If we don't settle this quietly, we're looking at a massive court battle. I told Jake, whatever happens, I'm not fighting you. He laughed and said, cool. I was going to offer to give it back anyway. I don't even like cabins. So now I'm here, exhausted, angry, but weirdly amused. Like I'm watching my life as a Netflix drama written by a drunk screenwriter. My brother? Still fuming. Tried to post about me on Facebook. I replied with a link to my Forbes profile and a screenshot of his failed crypto business. My mom and I, talking more than ever. She's attending therapy. She asked to meet my boyfriend again, without pretending he's my roommate. My dad, a tragic figure, flawed, broken, and now completely exposed. I still haven't decided if I'll speak at his funeral someday. Jake? He's my brother now. For real. We're planning a sibling road trip this summer. He's got better taste in music than me, and my dog likes him more than she likes my actual brother. So what have I learned? Money doesn't fix everything. Family doesn't mean loyalty. And sometimes the person trying to destroy you ends up detonating their own house by mistake. Thanks for listening, Reddit. I'm going to take a nap and then buy myself something ridiculous, like a gold espresso machine or a private concert with Lizzo. Because screw it. I earned this chaos. Final update. My brother went full psycho, and it backfired hilariously. Hey Reddit. Just when I thought this saga couldn't go any further off the rails, my brother decided to double down and go full-blown villain mode. Strap in. This one has hacking, sabotage, a sting operation, and one very poetic ending. So, after Jake, my secret half-brother, and I started bonding and my parents' world collapsed under the weight of 30 years of lies, my actual brother, let's call him Chad, because it fits, started spiraling. He's been rage posting nonstop on social media. Nepotism at its worst. Some people get rich and forget where they came from. My siblings stole my inheritance. He even DM'd my boyfriend, accusing him of gold digging and brainwashing me against the family. Joke's on him, my boyfriend's a surgeon. But Chad wasn't just angry. He wanted revenge. IT started with my company. Suddenly, strange login attempts started popping up in our systems. Password reset requests, phishing emails, fake invoices. Luckily, we have good cybersecurity, but one of the IPs was traced back to, you guessed it, Chad's condo. He tried to deny it, but it gets better. He created a fake LinkedIn profile using my name and picture, with the title, Entitled CEO with daddy issues. Asked me about my inherited millions. He even wrote fake recommendations from former employees, calling me a fraud. I laughed, printed it, and hung it on the office fridge under the label, Motivation. Then he went for the nuclear option. He tried to leak a fake scandal to the local news, claiming I'd embezzled money from our parents while they were sick and vulnerable. He even forged documents to make it look real. But here's the thing. He sent the tip to a journalist I'm friends with. She called me immediately. We traced the email to a burner account that, and I kid you not, had a password so bad our IT guy cracked it in 10 minutes. Chad is the best 123. We collected everything. All the harassment. All the digital trails. And then, with my lawyer and the journalist's help, we set a trap. I created a fake investment pitch deck for a startup I claimed I was launching, filled with intentionally bad ideas, Uber for fish tanks, NFTs for grave plots, and leaked it through a mutual friend, knowing Chad would see it. Sure enough, 2 days later, someone anonymously submitted the deck to a VC gossip blog as evidence of my declining mental health. Boom. Proof of intent. Screenshots. Metadata. Done. We serve Chad a cease and desist, and my lawyer is pursuing charges for digital harassment and defamation. He's already lost a consulting gig because the blog quietly blacklisted him. Our parents are mortified. My mom told him, "You didn't lose to your brother. You lost to your own bitterness." Ouch. Jake? He laughed so hard he cried. My boyfriend? Made me margaritas and said, "So what are we naming the Netflix show?" Oh, and my company? We're doing better than ever. The publicity actually brought in new clients. We named our newest AI tool Chat Filter. It detects insecure behavior in emails. The dev team howled. So where am I now? My brother is blocked on every platform. Jake and I are still tight. He's dating one of my company's lawyers now. My mom is moving in with a friend to reset. My dad wrote a handwritten apology letter. I haven't opened it yet. And me? I'm good. I survived rejection, abandonment, sabotage, and a full-on family implosion. And through it all, I didn't stoop. I didn't break. I thrived. Revenge is loud. Success is silent. But sometimes, success wears designer sunglasses and sips champagne on a rooftop while your enemy accidentally ruins himself trying to pull you down. Thanks for sticking with me, Reddit. I think this really is the end. Unless Chad tries to launch a podcast called The Real Victim. Then I'll be back.